The first light of day crept over the savanna, painting the horizon in molten gold. The small band of our kind, faces still bearing the raw contours of early existence, where jawlines were strong and brows deep, pressed close to the rocks. They knew the air was not always safe. For days, a predator from the sky had haunted them, its shadow carving fear into their bones. Its wings were vast, beating with the deep rhythm of a living storm. The elders whispered its name in hushed, broken syllables, the sky hunter. It was not hunger from the ground they feared today, but hunger from above. Her gaze cut through the pale morning air, searching for the glint of talons in the light. She was no stranger to the land's dangers, but the sky's threats were harder to fight. Her child, no more than 7 seasons old, clung to a crude spear, not because it could bring down the monster, but because holding it made him feel less small. Above them, the predator turned in slow, perfect circles, waiting for the moment when shadows and fear would betray its prey. The plains were vast, a golden sea where survival meant knowing every ripple of grass, every tremor of the wind. Today, the air carried a dangerous hum, the slow, deliberate beat of wings that did not tire. The band moved with the caution of an antelope under the lion's gaze, but their danger came from above, where eyes sharper than any blade tracked their every move. Without warning, the sky exploded downward. The bird's descent was a thunderclap of feathers and fury, its talons reaching for flesh. One of the hunters lunged to the side, heart pounding like the drums of a storm. The earth leapt around him in a cloud of dust, the air ripped apart by the predator's passage. Survival was not about bravery, it was about moving before thought could catch you. They worked in frantic silence, hauling the branch toward their refuge. The dry wood would serve as both barrier and fire, but every heartbeat spent in the open was an invitation to death. Above, the sky hunter's circles tightened, its patience thinning. It could wait for hours, it had done so before. He could feel it watching him, the way a snake watches a trembling mouse. His spear was not made for battles with the sky, but it was all he had, a sharpened will wrapped in splintered wood. The bird's head tilted ever so slightly, studying him with the cold intelligence of a predator that has seen many seasons and ended many lives. Then, the silence broke, the air shattered with the rush of wings. The sky hunter folded itself into a spear of death, plummeting toward them. The wind shrieked past its feathers as the band scattered in desperate chaos, each heart pounding with the ancient knowledge that the sky can fall without warning. The ground exploded under the weight of the strike, talons digging deep into the soil where moments ago warm flesh had been. She rolled, feeling the air sliced by claws that could crush bone with ease. Survival was measured in the width of a breath, and hers had been just enough. He had never seen the sky so close, never heard the low hiss of feathers cutting the wind. From his hiding place, the child's small hands gripped the rough bark, his chest heaving. The predator rose again, unhurried, like a dark sun that would not set until it had fed. They came together in instinct, back to back, the old rhythm of defense. Fire would be their shield, the smoke their hope. Spears pointed skyward, they waited, knowing that a single mistake could be the end of one of them, and the start of the bird's feast. For the first time that day, it rested, talons hooked deep into the ancient tree's flesh. The sunset poured fire across its feathers, making it look like a creature born of both sun and shadow. From its perch, it studied them, patient as stone, waiting for fear to ripen into weakness. The elder spoke without words, his hands weaving the language of survival. The plan was risky, to lure the hunter into the grass where spears could strike from all sides. They nodded, not because they were sure it would work, but because standing still meant certain death. The bait ran into the light, heart hammering. The scent of meat drifted upward on the wind, and the predator saw its moment. The sky narrowed, focusing on the lone runner, every muscle in its vast body preparing to strike. This time, the descent was even faster, the air screaming around the hunter's body. It did not see the glint of obsidian below, did not sense the trap waiting in the sea of grass. Hunger had blinded caution. The strike came like thunder, but the earth fought back. Spears rose from the ground like teeth, one finding flesh. The cry that followed shook the plains, a sound older than fear itself. It thrashed with the fury of the storm, wings beating like war drums. Dust swallowed the fighters as they clung to their weapons, feeling the raw power of the sky in their hands. With a roar that was more instinct than sound, the hunter leapt. His blade sank deep, warm blood bursting over his arms. The smell of iron and earth mixed in the wind as the sky itself seemed to scream. The young ones came forward, fingers brushing against the great plumes. They had feared this creature all their lives, and now they could touch it. Its body was still warm, its power still lingering in the air. They worked quickly, taking the great feathers as trophies and tools. Each one was a story, a proof of survival that would be told around the fire for generations. The smell of cooking flesh filled the night, mingling with the sound of crackling wood. Faces lit by flame leaned close, speaking softly, telling how the sky had fallen and how they had stood together. For his courage, the bait runner received the talon, bound in hide. It was more than a trophy, it was a promise that bravery would be remembered. Even in death, the sky hunter lived on in their games. They leapt and spun, arms spread like wings, their laughter cutting through the dark. A new day began, and the feathers glowed under the sun's touch. They would carry them to their next place, reminders that even the oldest fears could be brought low. They moved on, their bellies full, their spirits high, but the sky would never be empty for long. Somewhere beyond the horizon, wings beat again, and the old dance between predator and prey was already beginning anew.